It's all nonsense. What is nonsense? Everything, everything, everything. So here we are. And everyone has different opinions as to what that means. And most people are merely looking at this talk or experiencing this talk through thought. And then there is some that are experiencing it energetically. But most believe that non-duality is about thought, is about something that you think about and a place that you arrive in the future. But who is this you that arrives in this future? And where are you off to? Where are you going to? Like, where is non-duality going to take you? And what you do when you get into a subject like this is you imagine a person, this person that's going to become enlightened and get non-duality. And then when they get it, it's going to fix their life. And that's actually got nothing to do with what's happening now. Nothing. Like, that's an image that you're holding, that's a film that you're holding in your head about a future point, which you're doing, and you're using that in order to reconciliate feelings inside your body. So you're feeling something inside your body, and then you're using your imagination to try to fix those feelings, to try and sort it out. And this is an unconscious process. So as you sit there and have these different feelings in your body, these thoughts appear naturally, organically, to try to equalize everything. Because then you feel out of control of this moment, you feel like there is a problem in this moment, then imagining a better future and a better moment is relaxing. But that's not what this is pointing to. This isn't pointing to you using that as an imagination to help you for the future. This is pointing to something that's already here, that's about this moment and is beyond thought. It doesn't go into a timeline. That is what we call seeking. This momentum into time, where you believe that you're going to capture and attain the freedom of this moment in a future event, because that's all you're ever looking for, is the freedom of this moment. But you look for it in a timeline, you look for it in future, you look for it in events, in people, in things, in happenings. And it's not something that you get, because who is this you that you take yourself to be? You is always an imagination in time. There's nothing wrong with that imagination. I have an imagination of time, and I have an imagination of Lisa happening that appears in time. But it's this attachment that believes that is who you are. And it's this energetic shift from being that to boundlessness. So there's nothing wrong with an appearance of a person. It's just this energy that says that's me, and that energy that makes it feel like that person is looking. Who is looking out of your eyes now? It's never that person. There is just this timeless presence. And this person comes and goes in that. It's not who you are, it's not an experiencer. When there's identification with that, you always feel limited. You feel like you are something that is a size. You are someone that's in relationship. And it's not mental, it's energetic. You feel limited and small. You feel like you're in relationship with the world. And then there can be this turning inside out, or this shift from being that to being no thing. It doesn't mean that character stops appearing. And there has to be, in some ways, some form of identification with the character, otherwise you'd just be like, suddenly like identified with the wall. I am the wall, or the carpet. I am the carpet, so there's got to be something that's like in some way still attached to the character. Like if you're in absolute boundlessness, like the absolute, you don't even know who you are or where you are. or anything. So there has to be some form of identification or attachment or something that sticks together consciousness and this body. Otherwise maybe this body would collapse and die. But it's no longer that character is the experiencer. That character is an experience. It's appearing and disappearing. And this subject isn't about the character becoming unconditioned, without any habits. The character will always have conditions. Some conditions are more preferable than others. And it's not quite that, even though through this subject you begin to recondition the character and settle it down and it balances out. It's not about that. Body is conditioned. It's conditioned to speak English. Your body's conditioned to speak your language, like the conditionings of Italian or French or German or African, Indian. It's conditioned in its family line, has conditioned responses. So it's not quite that. We kind of think that the conditioning will be emptied out. It will be reduced more than likely, but it's actually the detachment from that. That is not the experiencer. The experiencer is this boundlessness, this freedom. So right now, on one level I could say Lisa is speaking, and that's what I would tell people. You know, like just to be regular. Like in one way it's Lisa speaking. And Lisa speaks through her habits and conditions. So she's influenced apparently by her teachers that she's had in the before, like Sir Roger Castillo, Ramesh, Nisargadatta Maharaj, who were the main teachers, Tony Parsons, Nathan Gill, all men. So she's conditioned in that way to speak in that manner. But really in this moment, it's not a thing speaking. It comes from emptiness. So the reality is that it all comes from emptiness. There is a time-bound character in which can communicate and which can be known, like Lisa that goes through time. And then there is this timelessness. Which everything is appearing from, which isn't separate from this moment. It sounds so insignificant that everything arises from this moment. When you really see it, it's such joy, such freedom. This moment is so free and loves its expression. Like, so we think that the wall comes from the past. This is a fly. The fly comes from the past. And we're always associating everything through stories, but really in this moment, it's all coming from now. Now is empty and full simultaneously. So you could also say there is a consciousness, this awakeness, and this sense of being, this amness. So consciousness and amness. And they're both appearing simultaneously in this moment. Like it can't be no consciousness. Like there has to be a recognition that it's happening, and there also has to be this beingness, this sense of existence. And these two things aren't a thing. And they are in all things and know things. So not something tangible that we could put in a bag or we're going to grasp consciousness or beingness. It is everywhere and nowhere. And everything's coming from that, directly from this moment. In our stories, in our thoughts, things come from time and work through time. But in this moment, they come from no place and no time. So right now, all there is this that's happening. And then you have imagination of all these other things. And you believe that that's your world, that's your reality. It's like a daydream. So these stories, and none of them are true. Some are seemingly more true than others, but they're not truth. So they're relatively true, but they're not truth. But we're so enamored by the story of you, where you've been, where you're going, what you're going to do. And you're so convinced that you're going to one day make it to a freedom in the future, and then inevitably be disappointed because you can't get there. This is the absolute surrender to what's happening, to what you are, which is this. This is it, baby. This is it. So this is it. This moment is all you ever want. And maybe you're looking in my words for something, or you're looking in non-duality for something, but it's about this moment. This is it. This is what you look for. This is the freedom. There is never a problem in time. I know it feels like it. The problem is the disconnection from source. Sometimes there's apparent problems, like the TV breaks and you have to fix it, or the dog's hair falls out. Gracie keeps having this hair missing on the back of her legs. She just sat beside me. It's really weird. So, but in actuality, so there's seeming problems, but there is no problem. Like deep down beyond that, you have everything you ever wanted. Right here. So this moment is all you ever wanted. You don't want something else. It's so unknowable, so mysterious, so uncontrollable. And it's really scary just totally collapsing into that. That's why most people stay a person, because they're afraid of that mystery. They're afraid if they let go that life will fuck them over. That they'll do something really stupid. Whereas it's a lie that you are ever controlling this. Sure, it has an effect, the appearance of someone believing they can control this as opposed to somebody that's not, but that's an illusion that you're ever controlling it, because who are you? Who is this person in there that's controlling things? There's an appearance of thoughts and sensations that make it feel like somebody is controlling. But is it really? Like if you want something now, so you want a drink, who wrote that in? You think it's you, but it's just appeared from this mystery. You could say it's you in time, like there's an appearance of a character that wants the drink, but in this moment, that appearance of that thought comes from nowhere, no place. It's just appearing. This is all there is. This is love. It's totally surrendering to this and letting life do what it does. And who knows what your fate or your destiny is. I get the sense though that when there is that surrender, and from my own experience as well, and when you're in line with your wants, that everything works out. That life brings you challenges of old ideas and concepts that need letting go of. So it brings you the challenges in life, and it takes you to exactly what you need on the human level. And if that means that you lose everything, that's exactly what was meant to happen. That character was meant to have those challenges and that falling away. And that character was meant to be reconditioned by that. And if it brings you lots of prosperity, that was exactly what was meant to happen. And in actuality, neither is good or bad. They're just a happening. Prosperity or no prosperity. One equals food and the other one maybe equals no food and no shelter. So in one way you could say it's not good on the human level, but we just don't know. We don't even know if living life is the best thing as opposed to dying. I know that's so awful to say on the internet. Isn't that funny? That was what I said actually. It sounds so awful to say on the internet. So it's okay that I believe or think that, or that that's what's coming out, but the fact that I'm sharing it on the internet, it's because the problem with sharing it on the internet is that people misunderstand that. And then if someone's sensitive to suicide, then maybe they take that as validation, and that is not what I'm saying at all. It's so much deeper than that if it's heard. But at the same time, it's a shame for me not to share that because of that. It's always this gentle balance between holding on and letting go. I think that's a famous Zen proverb. Oh, look at the time already. Did I get stuck in just staring at the camera for quite a while? Like sometimes happens, and I have no sense that I'm doing it or not doing it, but that doesn't even make sense.